Hello, Dmitri. How are you today?
Hi, Helen. Doing great. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, welcome to the AI native future. And I think you are going to define what that means later. Um, Hello, everyone. Today, I am honored to have Dmitri Tcherevik as my guest speaker. And he is the founder and the CEO of AnyQuest.ai. He's also executive in residence at the Sawyer Business School at Suffolk University in Boston. Um, I've known you for over a decade, Dmitry. I know you are the real deal of AI. If you don't mind, if you would give a quick, introduction of your background from your early days studying AI, playing chess, coming to the United States, being the CTO at, um, you know, uh, enterprise AI companies. So please give us an intro.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can go all the way back. Yeah. I started. I'm a computer scientist by the background. I studied computer science at a school in Moscow called Moscow Physics Engineering Institute, and I actually majored in AI. And at that time, AI was totally different from what it is today, obviously. But it was AI, expert systems and rule-based systems. And also at that time, I worked with a world chess champion. His name was Mikhail Botvinnik. He is a very, very famous. He actually was the coach of Garry Kasparov and many other chess players, and he was building a chess program at that time, which was an AI project, and I was part of that. I was honored to be a part of it. We built an AI program that played chess using his principles of playing it. So it was quite eye-opening, and of course, it required a ton of computing power at the time. Now you can have it on your phone, and it's playing just as well. And so then I came to the United States, and I worked at a very large company called Computer Associates, enterprise software. So I have an enterprise software background, created very, very large scale systems for very, very large customers, worked there for about 10 years. And after that, I was just doing startups. I started, this is my third company, AnyQuest. So every time there is something, some new big upheaval happening in the industry, I start a company. So the first company was called Infostoria. It was digitization of media. We worked with media companies and advertising companies. The second company was Mighty Meeting. It was the mobility company. You and I worked together on that one, actually. And it was mobile sales enablement and mobile education. And big project, big success. And now AnyQuest. AnyQuest is a generative AI platform for creating Gen AI applications using no code for business users. So that's
So you skipped something because I believe you built chatbot at Progress when you're CTO at Progress.
yeah, of course, yes. So Mighty Meeting was acquired by Progress, and I for about 3 years I was the chief technology of Progress. It's a medium-sized public company and also enterprise software, but a pioneer in AI. So we had Health Cloud, very AI heavy healthcare platform. We also had a chatbot platform, pre-ChatGPT, but there was a chatbot platform used by e-commerce sites and also a no-code platform for applications. So yeah, so I was doing AI during AI winters and AI summers at all points in the career. Yeah.
So in your new paper called AI Strategy, you said today's AI is different from um, your father's version, your father's AI. Could
Yeah,
you
yeah.
could you talk more about that?
Yeah, definitely. So what we call AI differs by I guess, as far, depending on how far back you go. So AI used to be an expert system. An expert system is just a bunch of rules. And people spend a lot of time putting together those huge rule bases for health diagnostics and for financial services. And then they discovered that, you know what, putting those rules manually is very error prone and difficult. So let us build something that infers rules based on data, and that's called machine learning. So that was the next generation of AI. So you throw data at an algorithm of some sort, and it comes up with the rule by itself. Like, so for example, you can give it house price and data, and it will look at different features and parameters, the size of the house, number of bedrooms, location, and come up with rules for determining the price of that house. So that was AI, let's say 4 years ago. That was what people called AI, and that is our father's AI. And it was very kind of use case specific. So for every use case that you have, like predicting house prices, you had to train a separate model. Then you need to have an army of data scientists, and they had to have clean data to create those models, and it took forever, and was labor-intensive process. And then that model, after all that time and effort, could only do one thing: predict house prices. And now we have a totally different AI, generative AI. So this AI can actually generate insights and generate new information based on existing information, and it can train models all by its own. So it is a general purpose AI. And so what happens is that there are utilities now, companies that provide AI as a service, like OpenAI and Microsoft and Anthropic, and they invest huge resources to train universal models, and these models can do anything. So as the consumer of AI, you no longer even often have to hire data scientists. You can just tap into this AI utility and get an AI model that can do everything for you. And that is the transformative nature. That is the disruptive nature of today's AI.
So I want to get into your paper talking about this disruptive nature of innovation and your sort of methodological way to look at what problem to solve. But could we just talk about what makes technology disruptive? In terms of the awareness, agility, and commitment and organization, all of that you kind of, discussed in your paper.
Yeah, definitely. So there is this framework that I really, really like, and I learned it from actually a customer of ours. It's a strategic consulting firm called CEO Works, and they came up with this framework called change hits, value shifts, money follows, right? So you're just cruising and coasting. Everything is going great. Your business is clicking on all cylinders, and then suddenly change happens. Like some kind of exogenous force, and that change is changing the value system in your industry. What used to be valuable is no longer valuable, and that presents a number of risks and a number of opportunities. So those changes, the changes that are changing the value system, are the disruptive changes. So, like a great example, let's say you're a codec, you're making film, you're a multi-billion-dollar company, very successful, and then suddenly Sony launches a digital camera, or even Kodak invents digital camera, but they fail to capitalize on that. And that changes the value system entirely. Previously, like the grain on the film and the film was valuable, and no longer. Now it is the size of the digital sensor. And that is disruptive because it changes the whole value system. And so if you bring it into today and the AI context, and in fact, you have AI native as part of your title. So Google is a search company. They organize the world's information, and they deliver value by giving you very relevant search results. You enter a few keywords and boom, they give you a bunch of results instantaneously. And then you have to click on the links and go and you can read and you can get what you want. And that has been the value for the longest time. And that's how they became a multi-billion-dollar company. And suddenly AI comes around, and now Perplexity, a whole different AI native company that comes from the perspective of AI. When you enter a search query, they do not give you search results, they give you the answer. So now, and that just transforms the whole value chain, because it's no longer how precise your links are, it is how precise your answer is. And that is just the example of a disruptive change, a disruptive transformation that changes the value system, and now puts Google in danger to all these new players coming to the market.
So you work with CEOs and different business leaders. You're also at the institution kind of training business leaders. Can you zoom out a little bit, kind of talk about the methodology in terms of how to apply, generative AI, after they learn about generative AI, how to take this further in an organization?
Yeah, that's a very good question. How do you apply generative AI? And very often, even if you look at my LinkedIn feed, what I mostly see is, hey, I just generated this image with AI. Look at how great it is. Or hey, I just organized my to-dos with AI. Or hey, it just wrote an email for me. So it's like little tactical things, and mostly it is just amazement at how smart this thing is, right? That is like the quality of today's discourse most of the time. And then very often the extent of the AI initiatives at the company would be, let's make a chatbot available to everybody at the firm. Let's get an enterprise license to Copilot or enterprise license to ChatGPT and just give it to everybody. And that very often leads to very little effect, because some people can use a chatbot, some people are not as efficient with chatbot, some people get a huge boost in productivity, some people don't get any kind of benefit. So that's I would say kind of uh, like a bottom-up approach to AI. So what we really, our recommendation to companies has been, let's take a step back. Like, what do we want to achieve? What is the ultimate objective? And very often what we want to achieve is either competitive advantage, right, in some shape or form, or we want to deliver a new value, a unique value to our clients and customers. Like in all cases, we deliver value and we want to capture some of that value. And then the next step is, how does AI help me get there? And then there is a number of steps you can follow to map that strategic approach back to your processes and activities that you do inside the firm, to your business processes, how you can reorganize them. You can surface the high value activities, analyze how they can be impacted and improved with AI, and then redesign the process and maybe deliver value. So I'll give you, just to make it more concrete, right? So let's say you're a strategic consulting firm, right? And you have a strategic consulting process. And that strategic consulting process very often involves you interview the executives, you understand the problem, then you come up with some kind of insight, you translate that insight into the next step in the strategy engagement. Then maybe you go and you interview foot soldiers, like the workers on the assembly line and so forth. And then you translate that into recommendations, reports, and so forth. So now with AI, so what is a strategic activity? Collect the information, unstructured information, and turn it into insight. Now with AI, you can compress that process from 6 weeks into 3 to 4 days. And that has an immediate impact from AI on the strategic part of the activity that you perform. So you can accelerate assessment, you can accelerate time from data collection to insight. And so that's a example of a strategic consulting firm that has just accelerated their process with AI, right? That they took a look at the process, identified high value, high impact activity, improved it with AI. So similarly, if you're a private equity firm, what do? You buy companies to sell them later at a higher value, right? So then what's the strategic part in that process? The strategic part in that process is due diligence and target identification. Again, you collect a ton of unstructured data and you turn it into insight, something that can be done with AI. So, and this just, the list goes on and on. So it's all very business specific, but if you take the strategic view, then you understand that chatbot is, maybe it is part of a solution, but not necessarily. There are many other components to that solution.
So, what do you think is the essential part for any CEO or business, leader should understand about this ongoing evolution? I think everybody agrees that AI is here to stay, and you see lots of hype. And I've seen so much hype, I decided to start this the AI Native Future series on LinkedIn. I just felt like is almost abusive for some people kind of just use AI to hype the value or innovation, but the solution doesn't really work, or it's like a wrapper, a toy like, you know, digital twins of you, or, you know, something fun. How do you make it accountable and sustainable, either it's a chatbot assistant or agent or a whole process? How do you do it right? That's, I think, the fundamental question, because I like your framework, and I also like the methodology, and I call it as a strategy. But can you kind of just give like some points for people to take away and say, this is truly an AI initiative and strategy versus just some shining stars and, you know, hype of it?
Yeah, definitely. So there is a process for it, right? And
Sure.
and I think, as with any big change, you want to, I think you want to begin by creating what we call a center of excellence. So, but this is particularly if you're a mid-sized company or a large firm, creating an AI center of excellence is absolutely important, because that will help you drive the strategic value of AI. And the Center of Excellence has three components, as we know from past technology revolutions. So one of them is people. You need to get the right people in the right places, and you need to educate your people. And the next one is processes, which is how you experiment with new technology and how you push it into production. And then only the last one is technology. So it's people, processes, technology. And on the people front, I would say the most important aspect today is knowledge and education. Actually, that's why I'm involved with Sawyer Business School at Suffolk, because it's a business school and they're at the forefront of pushing that AI education, both to their students and to the industry. So you need to know the AI strengths and weaknesses, and that you can only do by learning about it and by experimenting with it. And so that I would say is the first part. Just push the knowledge to your masses, push the knowledge to your people. And by the way, maybe as part of that, you do make a chatbot available to everybody. In fact, you should make a chatbot available to everybody, because now that people are equipped with knowledge, they can be a lot more productive with that assistant, with that intelligent assistant. And then the next step is really processes. And here I would highlight two parts. So one of them is this tournament of ideas. Now that and tournament of use cases almost. So now that you have everybody using this chatbot, everybody using this AI tool in your environment, you should surface the best ones. Like, what are the ones that are delivering the biggest impact? And you can only do that if you organize some kind of tournaments. So this can be hackathons, ideathons. It doesn't really matter how you call them, but there is a way for you to identify ideas for use cases, to somehow put together competition and then surface the best ones. And that will, so that's one. And it's always part of the innovation process. It always ties back to the innovation management whole idea. And then the other part is top down. So you really need to get the smartest people in your room, or maybe get consultants involved, and really analyze your key strategic activities. What does your company do? And then understand maybe how the whole process can be reorganized, or how individual activities can be improved with AI. And again, surface those top priority use cases. And then only after that, the next step for you is the technology planning. Now that I know that AI can help me in such and such way, what is the technology that I need to make it happen? And so those are the three legs of this stool, the people, processes, and technology.
Awesome. That's very, very useful. Okay, so let's zoom out. I'm going to ask you to define the futuristic AI native economy. What do you see in the future in terms of how businesses, get conducted, how organizations get, put together? How do you utilize so-called the digital workforce? Add AI to your workforce. Everybody is going to work with AI as your cohort. Could you just give us the bigger picture well, we have you here.
Sure. And by the way, I love add AI to your workforce. That was your baby, your slogan. We still have it on the website, like AnyQuest, add AI to your workforce.
Yep.
But really, what I think is if you zoom out and you take a look at the economy, I think that we are about to undergo dramatic transformation because if you take a look at the economy, so first the product was the physical product. You know, if you wanted to buy shoes, you would buy shoes, and that's your physical product that you were buying. And then the information revolution happened, and what you were buying very often was physical product plus information, right? So you would buy, let's say, a tractor from Caterpillar or some kind of equipment, and they would sell you that equipment, but they would also sell you information about how it is working, how it is performing, you know, give you reports and dashboards. So it's information, it's product plus information. And very often you would just buy information, right? So you would just buy Salesforce.com. So what you're getting is just the information product. So I think we are about to undergo the next big transformation, and it's going to be physical product plus information plus intelligence. So this new component, the intelligence part, I think is going to transform the way we buy products, the way we sell products, the way we use products. So I'll give you one example. So now, if I want to buy, let's say, a car, right? So I would buy a car, the physical product. I would buy the whole, you know, management. I can go to the mechanic and they get all the information about the car. But I would also get a self-driving agent, intelligence with my car, right? So now the car can drive itself, and then that transformed the product dramatically. So another example, as a, let's say I'm a strategic consultant. So as a strategic consultant, I'm delivering an insight and a recommendation, right? So I have analyzed all the data, analyzed all the information, surfaced the insights, came up with recommendations, gave you those recommendations to you. So now, how can we add intelligence to this? And we add intelligence to this by introducing an agent. So now, in addition to the insight, I can also give you an agent, intelligent agent, that will help you implement my recommendation. It will monitor your performance. It will give you real-time advice. It will surface all the problems and opportunities. So when I leave as a consultant, I leave behind my AI agent that is helping you operate. So it's another great example. So I think this intelligence part will be a part of every product, and that transforms just the whole economy and the whole way we buy products, sell products, support products.
Okay, I love it. And what do you think it takes for anyone to deliver on the intelligence part? I mean, in the old days, you probably need somebody with your, degree and your background. Today, I would assume that, knowledge workers actually could possibly create that intelligence without coding per se. Could you give a little bit more about how this intelligence can be a deliverable, what it takes to make it a true deliverable?
Yeah, and thank you for that question, because that's exactly what AnyQuest enables as a no-code platform. And so what we enable is a business, is a product executive, a business leader, a business specialist, a strategic consultant to build an agent without any coding, right? So you can just, all you need is your insight, your systems thinking, and the ability to drag and drop boxes on a canvas. That's all it takes. And so you come up with the prompt flow, with the information flow, with the data flow. You identify the best models to use, and they may be domain-specific models if you're talking biotech or any kind of medical application. So you pick the best model, pick the best tools, connect them all with data information flows, and you deliver it as an intelligence part of your product.
Awesome. And how does it evolve? Once I create that, does it evolve with more of a real life experience, you would say, carries a life of its own? Does it kind of get smarter over time, or?
Absolutely. This is the kind of self-reinforcing loop, right? Because the more this agent operates, the more
Yes.
data it generates. And the more data it generates, and information is structured and structured, the more data it has to learn from. And so, and then it optimizes its own operation. So yeah, the beauty of this of the agentic systems is that they can run on the fly, they can use tools just as humans, they can pick the best tool for the job, and the more they run, the better they become. And guess what? Agents can create agents, right? So that's another big opportunity here. But of course, one thing that we did not touch upon is the whole ethical dimension and risk management and compliance. So and all of that, and for that you also need the platform, right? So you cannot just deploy an agent at the wild and let it run. It needs to run on a platform that will ensure that those parts of the equation are enforced and present.
So that's what AnyQuest does, right? Because the platform provides that compliance and security for the safety of it.
Exactly, yeah. So yes, AnyQuest is an orchestrator, like an agent orchestrator, and every time an agent wants to do something, it is asking for permission from AnyQuest to do it. And that enables you as the end user to define policies, what can be done, what cannot be done, what kind of information can be accessed, and if it is accessed, what kind of privacy rules must be maintained. And yeah, so all of that is part of the platform, the secure platform for the agent. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, maybe next time you could do a little bit more show and tell.
That sounds like a great idea. You should definitely do it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for, coming to the AI Native Future series. Truly, I think you can offer a lot in the AI arena, plus the business evolution along with AI. Anything else you want to share with the audience?
Well, thank you for inviting me. This has been a great conversation. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, and reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to anyone. Happy to answer questions, and happy to help you craft your AI strategies.